are enjoying a healthy, disease-free existence, then you must thank your genes and not your stars. But some people are not so lucky. We find children being born with physical and mental disorders for no fault of theirs. Right now, genetic technology has the answers to many baffling diseases affecting mankind. And if more and more women were to enter this rare field of genetics, then it can make a lot of difference to human misery and suffering, especially with a woman's touch. Inherited human genetic disorders resulting from innumerable genetic defects. What causes these genetic disorders? Abnormal children are born to seemingly normal parents when mutations or irreversible changes occur in the genes of one or both the parents, or if there are chromosomal abnormalities. But hope is round the corner. Just a drop of blood can save babies from an entire lifetime of disability. A simple technique called newborn screening is yet to catch up in our country in a big way, says Dr. Radha Rama Devi, who realized its significance way back in 1980 when she started the first pilot project on newborn screening at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore.
The concept of newborn screening is not known in this country, although it just started in the developed countries like US. People were not really thinking of newborn screening because at that time our priorities were different. But we have to have certain pilot programs to say that we also require this type of screening in future, and so that we should be able to deal with the problem later on.
Sophisticated techniques such as genetic testing in molecular, biochemical and cytogenetic diagnosis now makes it possible to pick up genetic disorders early in life and treat them successfully. Screening is a simple procedure where a sample of blood from the newborn infant is collected on a piece of special filter paper and is sent to the lab for conducting several types of tests. Radha and her team screened nearly 1 lakh newborns in Bangalore. They found the incidence of newborn errors was almost similar to those reported in the West. What is the basic concept of screening babies?
See, the basic concept of newborn screening is you should screen diseases for which there is treatment available. Suppose there is no treatment is available, there is no point in screening the babies at that young age. So that is the basic concept, to screen the treatable disorders. In the beginning, there were only about 5 to 6 disorders for which treatment was available. But today, with the latest developments in technology and also knowing the various genes responsible for different diseases, you have many diseases are coming under treatable diseases. So the program of screening is expanding from a single disease to many diseases, to the extent of about 50 diseases today.
Most pediatricians in India feel that such screening could be quite expensive, but Radha thinks otherwise.
Don't say it has really caught up in our country, because still the government has not realized the importance of screening, but I'm sure it is going to come up in maybe in next 4 or 5 years, because slowly government is realizing the importance of screening.
In her heydays, Radha worked as an assistant professor pediatrics at the Guntur Medical College in Andhra Pradesh. Later, the desire to do something more made her switch over from pediatrics to genetics.
Pediatrics was my field of interest, and I took pediatrics as my first choice when I entered into post-graduation, with the basic idea of giving health to babies and see their well-being. My professor, Dr. Lavanya Mukherjee, said that as a pediatrician, if you prevent a child from becoming mentally retarded, it's worth your degree. So that was the comment which really stuck in my brain, and I was thinking what I can do to prevent this sort of disability in children.
Radha comes from a highly educated family. She stood first in medicine from Andhra University and won the President's Gold Medal. Currently, she is heading the Diagnostic Division of the Center for DNA Fingerprinting and Diagnostics, CDFD, Hyderabad, the very institute that shot into limelight for cracking the toughest of crimes with just a drop of blood or a strand of hair, with the amazing technology called DNA fingerprinting.
This is the thin layer chromatography that is used to test the amino acids from the blood of the newborn babies, wherein a drop of blood is punched out and then eluted in this plate and applied on this TLC plate. You get different bands of the amino acid that get separated. Based on that, we can pick up whether any particular amino acid is in high concentrations.
Right now, genetic tests are available for over 30 inborn metabolic disorders. Such screening can also detect certain infectious diseases such as toxoplasma and metallic poisons like lead.
Many a time, as you are aware, that many of these genetic disorders cannot be they are not treatable, but at least some of them today, because of the availability of technology and knowledge about genes and availability of treatments, some of these genetic disorders, if you pick them up early in life, you can treat.
To study some of the major inherited diseases, Dr. Radha worked on inbreeding or consanguinity, infant mortality, twinning, and sex ratios.
We have a large variety of disorders which are more prevalent in this country. Say, for example, chromosomal abnormalities, Down syndrome, which is also called the 21 trisomy, where the individual has 47 chromosomes, where the 21 chromosome is instead of 2 it is 3, or there may be a translocation in that chromosome giving rise to Down syndrome, which is very common in our population. Apart from this, other chromosomal anomalies also we are encountering among children who come with mental retardation, and we also find chromosomal abnormalities in couples who come with a history of repeated abortions or repeated neonatal deaths, or couples who don't have kids, so the infertile couples. And similarly, we also receive samples for testing in cases of leukemias, the blood cancers, and we also work on certain research areas to see whether there is a DNA damage at the cytogenetic level.
Heading the Diagnostic Division at CDFD can be quite a daunting task for a lady who looks so simple and unfazed. Genetics being a very complicated subject, It requires a lot of concentration, hard work and application. Yet, Radha manages to put her best foot forward by successfully juggling home and career. Her family members give her a lot of support and encouragement.
It's a feeling of great happiness and fulfillment for me and also for all members of my family. It's wonderful indeed to have such a successful companion in life. Not only our family members but entire our relatives and the friends feel proud of her and her accomplishments in the service of society.
Gender discrimination is something which every career woman has to take with a pinch of salt.
I don't think I've found any discrimination or anything as far as my work, both as in my medical profession as well as here in the diagnostics at CDFD.
What does she think of women taking to genetics as a profession?
Basic sciences, yes, women are coming into science, especially the genetics, but they're all non-medical people. Unfortunately, medical women, they're not taking up to genetics. This is again due to lack of awareness. Number 2, lack of facilities.
Not happy with genetics being confined to the ivory towers of the institute, Radha started the concept of taking genetics in the form of genetic counseling to the villages.
Genetic counseling in villages is still, people are not aware of genetic counseling, but recently when I made an attempt to develop this awareness among the villages. So I started a genetic clinic, genetic counseling clinic, genetic testing clinic in a remote village in East Godavari district. And I visit the clinic every month and counsel the couples or the parents or the children. And this, I really am very amazed to find the response which I get when I go there. I am extremely busy morning till evening because of the number of people come forward to take the advice.
As a medical officer, Radha also dedicates most of her time and energy to clinical work at the institute. She is involved in prenatal diagnosis as well as preconceptional counseling to patients coming from all over India.
How do we achieve this prevention? Is through what is known as carrier detection and prenatal diagnosis. Prenatal diagnosis in the sense when the mother is pregnant, the fetus can be tested whether the baby is going to be born normally or affected. So this can be done in the early months, that is the first, that is the later the 3rd month or the beginning of 4th month of pregnancy, and the fetus is tested, and if found to be affected, then the couple is given counseling whether such pregnancies can be continued or removed.
Most of the cases she handles are in the areas of mental and physical disabilities, repeated abortions or fetal infant deaths. She makes it a point to advise the patients against inbreeding, which is a root cause to many genetic disorders. Dr. Radha is now trying to establish for the first time in the country a nationwide database for genetic disorders.
Well, genetics is the future, and I feel everything is genetics.
Dr. Radha Rama Devi has come a long way with the amazing cocktail of pediatrics, genetics, newborn screening and genetic counseling. Her work relates directly to the society, especially women who play a far greater role than men in bringing up a child. She firmly believes that the future belongs to applied genetics.